Hey guys, it's Ken from Cactus Jam Board Games. Today we are doing our playthrough of Brass Birmingham. So pull up a chair, join me at the table, and let's see how the game goes. In our previous video, we covered the game setup and turn overview. So essentially went through all the actions players can take on their turns. Did we cover everything? No, not 100%. If you're interested, you can check out that previous video. We'll put the link below. But I would almost suggest that you can just watch this video here. By watching somebody play the game, you'll learn how to pick it up very quickly. The rules are very straightforward. The actions are not that complicated. Again, strategy is the source of interest in this game. It's not the complexity of the turns or what you can do and chaining things together. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our playthrough for Brass Birmingham. And I'll note right up front here that we're just going to be doing the canal phase. This is the first half of the game. And if you remember, the game is split up into two major parts. It's the canal phase first. We'll do an intermediate scoring, then go into the rail phase, and then do final scoring. So in this video, we're going to be doing canal phase and intermediate scoring. So let's play. Okay, so I've got the board all set up. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these cards right here and deal out 8 to each player. Okay, one card without looking at them is placed at the start of the discard pile. Each player then will start with 7 cards in their hand to begin with. Silver player will be our first player, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 7 cards that this player has. And we're going to organize them a little bit by locations and colors and types. So city cards are going to be over here. And then on this side, we're going to have industry. So we've got 1 beer, 2 coal, Stafford, Worcester, where is that? That's down here, Wolverhampton, and Wolverhampton. So 2 Wolverhamptons. Remember, for many of the actions, the actual card identity is not as important. It's just playing a card to be able to do the action. And let's take a look at, is there anything here that makes this player want to go one direction or another? This location is cotton only. I do like to get cotton mills out. Okay, looking at what I have right here, I think we're going to focus on trying to get manufactured goods, coal, and then pottery. That's going to be the goal here. I'd like to get that done before the end of this phase, the canal phase. So the first thing I'm going to need to do, so this site right here allows me to sell any type of good. So this would be good to get my connections over here as quickly as possible to allow me to sell both my manufactured goods and also the pottery. So with that in mind, let's build a connection first. I got 2 Wolverhampton cards. I don't need 2 of them. I'm going to discard 1 of them, and I'm going to start with a connection. They cost 3 each. And the idea is that eventually I want to get to this location, but I also don't want to hand my opponent the ability to build a coal mine in the first turn and be able to flip it. So I'm going to place it right here. So this is the start of my network. I've got these 2 cities for the silver player in the network right here, and I'm geared up to make a connection over here and start building this way. In the meantime, is a way of generating income and working towards scoring. Before I do the pottery, I can try to get the manufactured goods connection taken care of. Sorry, not the connection, but build this industry and then sell it to be able to benefit from the points. Okay, so this player's turn is done. The first turn, Again, you have 7 cards to start with. You're going to only play 1 action. You'll end up with 6 cards. So you're going to draw 2 cards to bring your hand up to its limit of 8. And silver's done. Now it's gold's turn. Again, we're going to take a look at the card. Ooh, lots of purple, lots of Birmingham. And iron. Huh, that's interesting. Okay, so we got Coalbrookdale, Kidderminster, Coventry, Birmingham, and then 2 iron mills. So I can't build iron mills right now because I need a connection to coal. There's no coal anywhere on the board and no one's connected to the market. So I can't do that yet, but I can start building towards it. Also remember, even though I've got 2 Birmingham cards here, I can only build 1 industry per city during the canal phase. So with that in mind, and I see that my opponent is already starting to build in this direction, I wonder if we could take advantage of that. One thing I could do is just play a card, say Birmingham for example, and say I'm just going to take a loan. I'm going to take a loan for 2 reasons. I'm going to build up a large amount of cash. I'm not going to spend anything, and then I'll be set up for next round. I'll be going first, and I'll have lots of cash to spend. Is that something I want to try? Yeah, let's try it. I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but we'll give it a whirl. So for taking a loan, I have to discard a card. I'm going to move my income tracker back 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to collect 30 pounds from the bank. And we'll take it in the form of a couple 10s and a couple 5s. There's my 30 pounds. Okay, this first round is done. I'm going to drop 2 cards for the gold player. Okay, so now we're truly done. We are now going to look at how much each player has spent and then determine turn order for the second round. In this case, silver has spent 3, gold has spent nothing, so turn order is reversed or inverted. The money that was spent is now going to be deposited in the bank because we've determined turn order. Now we're going to be doing income. And for silver, no income, 0. And for gold, -3. So you actually have to pay 3 to the bank. And I'll go ahead and do that right now. The idea for gold is that, yeah, we're going to take a hit this round. We're going to have to pay 3. Still got 30 right here, plus our starting 17. We've got plenty of money. We should be able to convert that into income pretty quickly. Okay, with that in mind, we're ready to start the second round. Okay, second round, gold goes first. We'll collect up all the cards. Now, if we were playing a standard 4-player game or 2-player game, you know, you'd get the cards right away and take a look at it. Oh, another purple card. Oh, we've also got beer now. Okay, so what is it that we're going to try to do? So I'm going to take Redditch, which is this city right here, the card for this one. I don't plan on building anything that location. I'm going to build me a link first. So I have nothing on the board right now, so I can build anywhere. 3. I'm going to build it right here. So now I have access to buildings in this area. I have access to Coalbrookdale. That's the only one right now. And I think I might, I do have Coalbrookdale as a card. So let's go ahead and do what Silver was concerned about before, build a coal mine and quickly get that converted. Well, let me take a look here. So the other option is I could build an iron mill. Yeah, you know what, I'm going to do an iron mill instead. I'm going to use the same card. I'm going to use Coalbrookdale, which is this location. Cost is 5 pounds plus a coal. There's no coal on the board, so I have to go to the market. Yes, I am connected to the market. So I'm going to spend 1 coal. It cost me 1 in addition to this, so it's 6 pounds total. That's the cost. Oops, that goes underneath of here. So this round, gold has spent 9 pounds, but they've got an iron mill. 4 cubes come from off the board in the supply. And then we look at the market and we see that, in fact, there are spot for 2 iron to be sold to the market. We have access to the market, so we're going to get 2 pounds for that to add to our supply. And I'm just going to take one of these 5s and convert it into 5 singles to cover the cost for income this phase, because again, I'm still have to pay money. Now, I'm not that worried. I'm still not that worried. I've still got 30 pounds plus extras. And in this regard, hopefully I can get this flipped over. One of the things I can do is use the iron on this tile and use it for the develop action, where I can remove tiles here and bounce up to the next higher level. Okay, so I'm down to 6 cards. I have to draw 2. Okay, and now we're over to Silver's turn. Now Silver is looking at the situation. They're probably a little grouchy that Gold jumped in here and built an iron mill right away. However, the trade-off is, yep, they got a Wolverhampton card. So one of the things that Silver could be interested in doing is getting a manufactured goods built here, and then in the very same round convert it into a sale at this location, and be able to get some points that way. So that's just what they're going to do. So they're going to take Wolverhampton, play that card, play that card, and purchase their level 1 manufactured goods at this location. What's the cost? 8 pounds plus 1 coal. Coal is getting a little bit more expensive. It's going up to 2 pounds, so it costs a total of 10 pounds total. But now they've got this manufactured goods built, and they're in position for their second action to get it sold, and that's just what they're going to do. One of the cards they drew is Cannock. I think they're going to keep that because that allows them to very conveniently build in this direction. I don't think they're going to be building much cotton mill. Oh, and I did something wrong. I'm so sorry. I grabbed the gold tile. Yeah, I got to be careful doing that, controlling 2 decks. It's the Silver player that built the manufactured goods. Silver player paid, Silver paid. Yeah, okay. So that, my mistake was I grabbed the wrong tile, but everything else seems okay. So now Silver player is going to spend their second card or second action doing a sale, where they're going to sell this manufactured goods to this location. There's no beer anywhere on the board except for here. So when they consume beer, they must consume this one, and this is the only one they can take right now. But the benefit is they get 4 victory points immediately for that, so they get that bonus. And now they're going to flip this tile over, and they see a boost of 5 for their income. So right now it's at 10, it goes up to 15. I'm going to have to move these cards out of the way. There we go. I'll do the same over here. Okay, so their income is bumped up to 15, which corresponds to an income of 3 pounds. They're now set up to, well, they're going to start building up in this direction. The 3 income is okay, but one of the first actions they're going to be doing next turn for the Silver player is take a loan. They're in a good position where if they take a loan, their income will drop here for the first step, then here, and then finally here, right back to 0, but they'll have 30 pounds to show for it. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the 2 cards for Silver to get their hand back up to size. And now this round is done. Let's go ahead and figure out who spent the most. I think we already know. It's 9 for Gold and 10 for Silver. Turn order does not change, so let's just go ahead and put those away. And now we're going to look at income. And Silver picks up 3 pounds from the bank directly into their account, or where they can spend it. They're up to 7. And again, Gold is still has a deficit, so they're still paying 3. Okay, we are set up for the 3rd turn. Okay, at the beginning of the 3rd turn, it's Gold's turn first. Let's take a look here. Now, one of the things I got to do is they got to get their income back up to at least 0, if not higher. This tile right here, I'm just going to take a quick peek. When they flip this one over, they get 3. That brings them back to 0. So their priority is to get this flipped. So let's go ahead and figure out how they're going to do that. They got Dudley. Dudley's actually a pretty good city. And if they do cotton mills, I think they want to keep this city. Coventry here. Coventry is maybe for the pottery. Birmingham, I think they still want to play with that. The first thing we're going to do is spend a beer card, not to build a brewery, even though, could they build a brewery? Where could they build one if they wanted to? Not here. Not here. Not here. Not, well, okay, they can't. So they're going to spend this brewery card right now and use it to develop 2 tiles on their board. And they're going to develop 2 level 1 cotton mills. These get removed from the board. Those are the 2. They're going to have to spend 2 iron, 1 for each tile they remove. And now this tile no longer has any iron on it, so they're going to flip it over and their income goes up 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, they're back up to 0. They're not going to be losing money every round, which is perfect. And now they can start thinking about spreading out their network. I think they're going to try to get down here because they're going to try to get a cotton mill built as soon as possible. So let's go ahead and do that next. And the card they're going to use for that is in fact an iron mill. So they're going to spend that card and they're down to 6. That's perfect. Going to spend 3 pounds, not bad, and put a connection here. So their network now extends from Coldbrookdale to Kidderminster. Perfect. I'm going to drop 2 cards to replace their hand. They've only spent 3 pounds this round, so there's a good chance that they're going to be first again next round. That's perfect because they want to build here. They're going to have to build beer or build connections down to here to be able to sell that cotton down to this location. Okay, let's go back to Silver, the second player now. And Silver has only 7 pounds. So the first thing they're going to do, actually what they're going to do first is they're going to get themselves a coal mine. So they've got this card right here, which allows them to build a coal mine on their network. Well, where is their network? It's these 2 cities. They can't build one here because they already have an industry at this location, so they can only build it here. Well, there's a spot right there, perfect for it. Coal mine location, cost is 5. There's 5 right there. We're going to place it right there. That's the 5 they spent. And they get 2 coal placed on this mine. This mine is connected to the market, so now we're going to look at the market. Yeah, there's spots for it. 2 coal cubes, 1 goes into the second row for 2 pounds, 1 here, so the amount of money they just made is 3 pounds, and that comes to them immediately. And this tile is now empty of resources, so we're going to flip it over, and they get an additional 4 bumps on their income, so their income is now at 19, which corresponds with 5 pounds. So very nicely, they've built up a pretty nice income, and they've got 5 pounds still to work with. I think they still got to do the loan then and just get that taken care of. So let's go ahead and find a card that they can play. Tamroth. Tamroth is this location here. Are they going to make it this far? Probably not. So they're going to spend Tamroth, that card, as just an action so they can take a loan. So their income drops down 3 steps or 3 levels. So they go down to the top of the next level. That's 1 step. And then 2 more bumps down. 1, 2. Income is still 2. And they've got 30 pounds to show for it. So they're flush with cash, and they still have income coming in, which is pretty nice. Okay, great. So they have 6 cards, so they're going to draw 2. Okay, so Silver is done. They were second player. They spent 5. Gold only spent 3. So Gold's, the turn order doesn't change. Gold is still first. And let's look at income. Silver picks up 2. And Gold is now at an income of 0, which is perfect, means that they're not losing any more money. Okay, we are ready to start the 3rd turn. Okay, in the next round, the 3rd round, Gold is the first player, and we mentioned that Gold is going to focus on getting their first cotton mill out. Are they going to do that? I would like to get over here as well. So this is what I'm thinking about right now. They've got a level 1 cotton mill that they can build, which is awfully nice. But if they do another develop action where they remove a tile from their board, they can in fact get a level 2 instead. And it takes some of the pressure off them trying to get 2 cotton mills built before the end of the round. So let's go ahead and give that a try. So the first thing they're going to do is, let's see, cards they have. So they want to build in this location, they want to build another iron mill, which is good. Iron mills are actually pretty valuable. So they're going to actually spend this card right here just to build a connection. Here, they need to pay for it. It costs 3. I'm going to turn in a 10 and take back 10 in the form of 5 and 5 ones. Okay, that's their 3 that they spent. So now they have a connection to Dudley. And they got a card for Dudley. So, but they also have 2. Yeah, let's play the card for Dudley. It's less useful than keeping the generic industry cards because these can be played anywhere on the network. Dudley is limited to Dudley. So let's go ahead and build the level 2 iron mill, which is right here. Now the cost is going to be 7 plus 1 coal. Still, coal is not found on the board, but coal got cheaper because of this mine putting coal in the market. So this cost 1 pound plus the 7 or 8 total. And that's 8 combined with the connection they built earlier. And so they have a grand total of, what is that, 11 they spent this round. And the 4 cubes for iron go right onto this tile. The market is flush. There's no reason to build any more, or at least they're not going to be able to sell any right now. But in future turns, they'll be able to develop and clear off tiles and make room for stuff. Now they still have 20 pounds to work with. Yeah, so we'll see how that works. We'll just keep plugging away. So gold has 6 cards in their hand. They're going to drop 2 to get their back up to their 8. They're done after spending 13, and now it is silver's turn. There's not a lot of conflict right now between the 2 networks, and the 2 players are kind of going off in different directions. If there was a lot of conflict, I think turn order would be more important for both players. Both seem to be doing just fine with the way things are. You know, silver got the jump here with being able to get this bonus. Right now, there's just not a lot of drive to go here. Now, I will say this, if beer becomes limiting, then you might see a little bit more competition and a little bit more attempt to go first every round. The reason I'm bringing all of this up is that I just don't think silver really cares that much if they go first or second. I think silver is actually okay with going to Cannock, this location, playing the Cannock card, and when they do so, they're going to use it to build manufactured goods at this location. Now, they've gone up to the level 2s, and for level 2 industry card or manufactured good card, they need 10 pounds plus 1 iron. Well, iron's sitting right here, so that's a free resource for them. Gold is not that upset because I think they want this tile flipped anyways, but it's a free resource for them and for silver. And so their total cost will just be 10. And that's that. Now silver has to start thinking about beer. This manufactured good, to sell this to the market, they need to have a beer to go along with it. Well, the beer is gone from here, so they need a beer from another source. Looking at the board and looking at the cards, they've got a couple of cards for Stafford here, but they really want to get a pottery mill built here instead. So instead of using this location for beer, I think they're going to try to use this one. And I didn't mention this in the rules introduction, but there's 2 locations on the board that don't have city names. Both of them make beer, and these are, I think, called cottage breweries or farm breweries or something like that. For you to build this industry tile at this location, you must have the connection to it, and then you must have a card that allows you to build a brewery. So that's the only way it can be done. So with that in mind, if Well, silver's still got some work to do. They got to make a connection here, they got to make a connection here, and beer. They've got several turns of work ahead of them. They've got 2 Stafford cards here. They don't need both of them. And oftentimes, if I'm going in a direction, say a city like Stafford, where I want to do something and I got 2 Stafford cards, play one of them to do a different action to throw your opponents off. Because if they know what your goal is, to get up to Stafford, they might do something to skunk the works. They might jump in here and do something before you can get it done. So by throwing out another card, throwing the card that you're looking for, this destination, but you use it for a different purpose, you've kind of, like I say, you're trying to throw off your opponents a little bit. So I'm going to spend £3 and get this connection established. So I've got the manufactured goods connected to a market where I can sell it. I just need the beer to go along with it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, perfect. I'm gonna drop 2 cards. Got the 2 cards right there. Okay, we are done with this round, and I've spent 13 for silver, and I think 13 for gold as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I'm sorry, I only spent 11. So that means the turn order does not change. We're going to toss out the 15 that we spent here, and then I'm going to keep £2 to hand off to silver for their income. Gold gets nothing, the rest of the cash gets put away, and we are done with this round, and we are ready to move on to the next one. So I think it's pretty obvious to see already that with experienced players, the turns can go pretty quickly, right? And if you have targets that you're going for, especially with a 2-player game like this, you have goals, things you're shooting for, and then you just run towards it. It can be done very quickly, very efficiently. It doesn't have to get bogged down. Now, with inexperienced players and new players with the game, of course, this will take longer because they got to think about what they're doing, how to approach stuff, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And this is a game where the first few times you'll play it, at least in my experience, the first few times I played it, there were lots of mistakes and lots of learning. But the game is definitely worth it because of the depth and just the interesting way that it presents this puzzle and the way that you can solve it. So in that regard, I'm trying to show you guys not only the gameplay, but also some of the strategy behind it so you can kind of see the depth of it. Okay, so we're ready now to start turn 4, I believe, possibly 5, but gold goes first. And let's see what they want to do. I think, again, what gold is looking for is getting a cotton mill in place. But before they do that, they've got to improve their situation with the cotton mills. They've got a level 1 that's ready to go, good, but they'd love to get a level 2 out there instead. So they are going to do another develop action. The card they're going to use is Colebrookdale, which is right here. They've already got an industry here, so this card is great for this purpose of just allowing them to do whatever action. They're going to take 1 iron for sure, which allows them to remove one of these cotton mills. So they're down to, or I should say they removed all 3 level 1 cotton mills. Now they have level 2 ready to go. Do they spend another 1? I think they're going to, yes, they are going to spend another 1. So a second cube is going off, and they're going to remove the level 1 coal mine. So that's coming out of play as well. Okay, so that's their first action. Now their second action is to go ahead and build that level 2 cotton mill, and they're going to do it in Kidderminster, this location right here. They've got a location here. It's important that they're connected to the network and the market because the level 2 cotton mill requires a coal. So it's 14 pounds. I'm going to place it right here, plus a coal from the board here from the market, another 2, so a total of 16. I'm going to grab some change. And so the total cost is 16. That's where we are. So they only did 1 action that would cost any cash, but boy, it was a biggie. Okay, so they got 6 cards right here. That's perfect. They're going to draw 2 cards to replenish it. Our deck is definitely getting smaller. Okay, but now they've got their first cotton mill on the board, they got to get it sold. So they're going to need beer, much like silver player needs beer to sell this. Beer is actually pretty lucrative. You can make lots of money and get lots of victory points by having beer and breweries on the board. Now, gold may end up running this direction anyways because it's a free action. Sorry, these are relatively cheap with just building connections over here, as opposed to building a brewery someplace. Or if silver builds beer on the network where it can get access to it, they may be wanting to swoop in and just grab it. Okay, let's see what silver's going to do. And silver should be aware that gold is in a position to sell their cotton mill or sell these this tile right here if beer is left in a position where it can be gotten. So it's in their best interest not to have beer just sitting on the board someplace. So along those lines, and they have two of these cards right here, Burton-on-Trent. They're going to go ahead and build a brewery, but they're going to build a brewery on Burton-on-Trent. So silver is going to build the level 1 brewery, cost 5, and they're going to place it right here. Cost 5, we're going to put a beer on it, and it also costs 1 iron. Well, iron is on the board, and it's actually connected, well, it's not connected to this location, but beer doesn't have, I'm sorry, iron doesn't have to be. Coal must be connected to this location for you to use it. So instead, they're just going to go ahead and use this iron. And we're going to come back to that in a moment. I'm going to tilt this just so I'm aware of it. So they don't have to pay for iron. They do have to pay the 5 for building the brewery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for silver. Okay, so this is the card they played. They've got their beer on the board now. This action is done. We're going to now take a look at this tile right here. This tile it is an iron mill, but it's been all the iron markers, cubes, have been removed from this location. So we're going to flip it over, and now gold is going to have an income boost of 3. That's pretty interesting for gold. They're actually pretty happy about that because they need cash. So perfect. They're happy. And silver's happy because now silver, if they want to, they can sell this they can sell this manufactured goods to this market using this beer. And I think that's just what they're going to do. And looking at their cards, so they played the card Burton-on-Trent to get this tile out. They're going to play another Burton-on-Trent to now sell this manufactured goods to this location using this beer. That means both of these tiles are flipped over. We're going to remove the beer from the brewery. We're going to flip that tile over, and you're going to see a bump up of 4 income. So they're 14, it goes to 18, and now they're going to sell this manufactured good. Now the bump up is only 1. It's not great, but it will translate into 5 pounds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I got 6 cards. Okay, so silver's turn is done. I think silver has jumped up. Well, let's see how much each player has spent. 16 for gold and considerably less for silver, only 5. So we're going to reverse turn order. And now for income, gold is going to pick up 2 and silver is going to pick up 5. Okay, the rest of the cash gets put in the bank. Okay, and now silver is going to get to do turns back to back, right? They did this turn here, these 2 actions, and now they get 2 more actions. I've done this in a way to kind of steamroll or push forward as quickly as possible to get things done. Okay, so that's the end of that turn. Let's get set up for the next one. Okay, we're going to the next round of action. Silver is first. After just making that, making the brewery and then selling. So the cards they have, oh, they got another Canuck. They don't really need it. Perfect. That's great. They can use it for other purposes then. Okay, the dilemma that silver has is they can spend 1 card here, and they probably spend their Canuck card because they can't use it for other purposes. come here and then build a brewery, but then you're essentially handing gold player beer on their turn. They can sell off their cotton mill without doing anything. Because right now, gold is actually short of cash. They've only got 6 pounds. That doesn't allow them to do a heck of a lot. It would be good to keep gold from taking the beer. Let's see how much cash we got. So silver has 26 pounds. Okay, I think it's time for them to make the move to get the cotton, I'm sorry, not the cotton, but the pottery kiln built. Okay, so along those lines, Stafford is the card they want to keep. Cannock they can spend. So Cannock is the first card they're going to do. And they're going to spend 3 pounds to make a connection. Here. So let me go ahead and get 5. Okay, so they've just got their change there. So let's go ahead and pay for that connection. 3 pounds. This connection. They still have 23 left. It's time for them to build their pottery kiln, and they're going to use the Stafford card to do it. And so with the pottery kiln, this is level 1, so they're going to spend 17 plus 1 iron. There's no iron on the board, so they have to go to the market. So 18 total pounds. They've already spent 3, so grand total 21 this round. We're gonna go ahead and there's their 21 pounds that they spent this round. And they've got their pottery kiln on the board. So now it's pretty obvious what the intent was coming up to this location. They can go ahead and start working towards getting that built. One of the reasons why you want to build a pottery kiln is that when you flip it over, it's worth 10 victory points. That's one of the highest of any of the tiles, at least level 1 for sure, on the board. And it's just one of the highest tiles anywhere. So, and it's pretty convenient, pretty easy to do it. Often results in a big jump in the score, meaning this player who gets this build will often take the lead. Okay, I got 6 cards. I'm going to drop 2 cards to replace my hand, and silver is done. Now it's gold's turn. Now gold is in the same boat that we had left silver last round with. If they build a connection here and then build a brewery, yep, and they can do that, they'll end up handing beer off to the silver player who will use it to run with it. Now it's not crazy though. Let me think about this. Can they afford it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the cost of building a brewery here. Oh, but they have to do the connection too. That's why they can't do it. Okay. So it's not going to happen. The other thing I could do is I could look at, do I have a Stafford card? Because if I had a Stafford card, I could just build the brewery right here and just say, here, take it. With the idea that I'm going to see a big boost in my income as a result of them consuming my beer. You know, maybe I want them to. That can be a strategy as well. But it doesn't turn out to be the case here. Wow, so many purple cards. Holy smokes. And I don't even think we're going to make it over here. Okay, maybe gold is going to try to shoot the moon. One of the things you can do when you do the sell action, right? You need to have a beer to flip over one of these tiles. If I have 2 sources of beer, I can flip over 2 of these tiles. If I have 3 sources of beer that I can get to, I can flip over 3 tiles. In one play, 1 card, 1 sale action, say at this location, I could sell multiple cotton mills to this location at one time. So if I were to kind of change my gears a little bit, oh yeah, I don't have a lot of cash, but I can fix that with a loan. If I come to this location, build another cotton mill, or come to this location and build a cotton mill, and then I've got 2 cotton mills very close to this market where I can sell those very quickly and make some serious money. Now the thing is, I don't have the card any way to build a cotton mill, at least not directly. One thing I could do though is I am going to do a scouting action where I'm going to play a card and then discard 2 other cards. And I'm going to get rid of this card and this card. And I'm going to draw 1 of this card and 1 of this card. Okay, so I have discarded 3, drawn up 2, net loss of 1 card. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. And I'm in position to, with these cards, I can use it either as an industry or a location. I can just point to it and say, this, I have this card right here, or I have this industry. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and take a loan. That's what I'm going to do next with my next action. And I think I'm going to forget about trying to come over to this part of the board, and I'm just going to play Coventry to allow me to take a loan. We're going to drop down 1 step to the next, the highest position in the next lower level, and then 2 more steps down. 1, 2. Darn it, we're down to the -1 again. But we do have 30 pounds coming in, and I do have a bunch of singles, so I think I'll be okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to drop 2 cards, get me up to 8. If you notice, this deck is now empty. We are in the countdown for the end of the first phase, the canal phase. Okay, and let me make sure I've done everything right. What did I do here? So I did a scout action, and then I did a loan action. So gold spent nothing this round. Okay, so we've spent down all these cards. Our hand is at 8, but at the end of next round I'll be down to 6, and then 4, down to 2, and then finally those are the last 2 actions for this phase. We are ready now to get set up for the next round, where we figure out turn order. Silver spent 21, gold spent nothing. So obviously turn order will flop or switch. Silver is going to get 5 pounds, nice income, but I think we need to turn that into a loan. Gold, back to our debt days, we're going to lose 1 pound. But again, we've got lots of cash here. Okay, and gold will be going first next round. Okay, so we are ready to start the next round. And we need to get gold set up first. Remember, gold's plan is to get a second level 2 cotton mill onto the board, either here or here. Probably here makes the most sense. And then get down to this location as quickly as possible and have a beer as well. First things first, I think we need to build this connection. So let's go ahead and do that. And we can use any card in our hand to do that. And again, I don't think we're going to go to Coventry. So let's go ahead and spend Coventry, city over here. We're going to spend 3 pounds to make a connection. And now we're set up here where we can connect to a beer, build another cotton mill, and then start working towards this location. And in fact, do we want to do that right now? Make that the first action? Yeah, I think the safer, oh, I also have to build a cotton mill. So we're 3 actions away, so we have to build, connect, sell. So yeah, we're 2 full turns away from it. I think the safest thing to do is to build this cotton mill. Let's go ahead and do that. So cost is 14, and a coal from the market costs 2. So 16 pounds is the cost. We have spent a lot this round, but we've got our second level 2 cotton mill. And again, the key thing here is we need to get these guys flipped over before we go into the scoring phase, intermediate scoring phase after the canal phase. If we have tiles like this that are flipped right side up, so they're not flipped over like this, we won't score anything. Now the level 1 tiles, if there was a level 1 tile sitting here, not only would it not score, but we would remove it from the game. Any level 1 tiles are going to be removed before we go into the rail phase. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I have another action. Well, let's go ahead and get this connection built. and then we'll build a beer, and then we'll sell. Okay, I think it's not crazy. I think we're okay. So we need to keep a beer here. Do I want anything in LaSalle? I would like to get another coal onto the board. Where can I build? I can build coal here. I'd like to get coal onto the board and have it available for me to work with next round, and you'll see why when we're building rails, because rail requires cash and coal to build each and every location, each and every connection. Well, let's get that connection built. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just spend one of my beer cards and use that to build a connection here. Oops, that's a canal. And it costs £3. Let's see if I turn in these 2 and take this 5. I have spent everything. So I've spent £22 this round. Holy smokes, that's a lot. Okay, but that's Gold's turn, and you've noticed here at the end of Gold's turn, they're down to 6 cards. Okay, Silver. Silver needs to get a beer and a connection on the board. Oh, they have a Dudley card. Dudley is actually pretty nice. And they got Coalbrookdale, but they can't use it. So Coalbrookdale can be used for anything. Well, let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's use Coalbrookdale because we do need a connection. And we're going to place our connection right here. Cost £3. If we play our cards right, Silver will be going first next round. Oh yeah, so with that in mind, even if I build a brewery, I'm still going first next round. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it, and then we're all set to make the sale for the pottery. So let's go ahead and build that brewery at the Cottage Brewery here. Cost is 5 plus an iron. Iron is not on the board, so we have to spend this, so it costs 6. So we've spent, okay, we just have to spend 6. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so Silver is done. Oh, we got to put the beer on our brewery. Okay, Silver can build this brewery here because they know they're going to be going next, and they're going to be able to use this and capture the beer from this location, or use the beer from this location to sell this pottery and be able to make the profit off of it. So they can't get scooped. So again, spent 22 for gold and much less for silver. So we're going to go ahead and reverse order. And silver gets £5 for their income. Gold has to pay £1. Okay, so gold has 12 left. Silver only has 6, but they got ways of making cash pretty quickly, and they're going to score a lot too. Okay, we are ready for the next round. Hey guys, it's Ken from the future. I'm editing the video right now, and notice that the next part, the next turn, that video section was lost. So the camera recorded it, but the file was corrupted and can't get that part of the game incorporated into this playthrough. So instead, what I'm due for you is just give you a blow-by-blow what happened in the next turn, and then we'll pick up from that point. So long story short, Silver went first. They're able to get their brewery. They had the brewery already, but they're able to make their sale of the pottery kiln up in Stafford, get that sold, make a whole boatload of money, meaning their income went up, and during the intermediate scoring, they're going to score a lot for that as well. We'll see that when we get to that part of the video. Now, Gold, on their turn, was able to build the brewery down at one of those farm breweries or cottage breweries, and get that built, and then sell to the 2 cotton mills that they had planned, sold to Gloucester in the south there. So both players had a very productive turn. Unfortunately, we just lost the video of it. But when we pick up on the other side of this diversion, we'll be able to see where the players are, and we'll go from there. Okay, we're going to the last, well, there's 4 different actions, or 2 turns worth of actions. left in the game. Let's take a look at what silver can do. Again, I think silver will build the coal mine here first. They'd rather not do it here. They may end up coming here anyways and building another one just so they have the coal available. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Okay, coal, 7 for silver. There's the 7 spent, and there's 3 cubes that go onto the mine, but immediately, because this is connected to the market, they get sold. 2 pounds, 2 pounds, 1 pound, or 5 pounds goes back. It's very nice discount on their coal mine, and then the coal mine flips over and they pick up 7 for income. 28.35. Now they're in the 12 pound range. That's how much money they'll be collecting. I think though they could convert that into a loan and have a lot of cash. Now the other cheeky thing they could do is build a connection here, and they've got one of these pottery kilns that they can build at this location, and by doing so they could put themselves in a position where they have already got a pottery kiln on the board going into the rail phase, because that's a level 2 and that will just sit there. Having another iron mill on the board is good. Dudley gets some coal. Oh, that's interesting. They could actually throw Dudley on the board right now, right? 7, yep, they could afford it. Get a 1 pound discount or rebate because they're going to sell 1 of their cubes, and they have 2 cubes sitting on a mine. Yeah, let's give it a try. So Dudley, they're going to build a coal mine, cost them 7. They've spent a lot this round, looks like 14 total. They get 3 cubes on their mine. 1 of them comes here, translates into a single pound. And so they got 4 pounds sitting there, but their income is 12. That's pretty nice. And they got 2 cards going to the next round. Okay, I think we're good. So let's go to gold now. Gold went ahead for this scouting action, then they never actually use any cards. Can they use any cards now to help them out? You know, it's interesting. So they could in fact get one of the level 3 cotton mills onto the board right now. They could drop it in right here. Does it make sense for them to do it? Yeah, they could actually steal the coal here too. You know, let's go ahead and do it just because it's, we're going to need cash for that. We're going to need a lot of cash. So we're going to need to take a loan. We're going to spend this card here, which is the iron mill, and drop down. We're going to take a loan. So 1 step down to the next level, top position, and then 2 more steps down. So income goes to 3, but now we've got 30 pounds to spend. Lots of cash. Okay, let's be cheeky. Let's do it. We're going to spend this card right here. That symbol right there means any location. Sorry, any location that we're allowed to build in. So this location can be stone. I'm going to call this card stone. And for us to build a cotton mill at this location, we need to have an iron and a coal. Well, coal's on the board, so let's take that right now. Iron, it comes from the market, that's 2. So 2 plus 16, so a total of 18 is the cost. Okay, we just spent 18, that's a lot of money. And now we have a level 3 cotton gin, or cotton mill, excuse me. Looking at, okay, so gold is done with their turn. I hope that's the right thing to do. I'm not 100% sure it is. We're not going to score it this next round because we would need to be able to build a brewery on our network, and there are no breweries unless we overbuild this one, and I'd rather not do that. So we'd have to build a brewery to be able to do that, and then we could go ahead and sell that. Although it's not crazy. That is worth 9 points. Okay, well, let's come back to it. So 18 spent by gold and 14 spent by silver. Turn order doesn't change. Silver picks up 10 pounds for income. Gold picks up 3. I could see silver doing a loan going to the next round, because it's nice money right here. It's 12, what, 16? That's nice, but getting a loan would also be helpful too. Okay, it is silver's turn first. What do we have here? We've got an iron mill on our network, and I don't see any place where we can build it. And then we've got the pottery kiln on our network, and again, I don't see. I'm not going to overbuild on this location, and I don't think, I would like to, if I do have any interest in building iron for silver, I need to clear out that first tile, because this is one of those tiles that can't be built in the rail phase. It has to be developed. Other thing I can start focusing on as well is this idea of maximizing score. So for example, if I place a connection here, it only costs me 3, and that will score me 3 points going into the intermediate phase. If I go here, it's worth 1. If I build here, it's worth 2. Build here, it's worth 3. So I could build 2 connections, spend 6 pounds, quite generic, and then pick up 6 points that way by having a connection here and here. That's not crazy, because I can't build an iron anywhere on my network. Oh, I could here. So I could come to this location with a connection and then build the iron here. Yes. Yeah, I could do that. Actually, I should come from this direction. Build, and then connect. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to build using the pottery kiln. Build a connection. I've got a canal, cost me 3. And now I'm going to build an iron mill, cost 5, and it eats up this coal, which is okay, I guess. So we're going to boost up our income just the old-fashioned way. We're not going to take a loan so much. So 35 goes to 42 because we flipped over this. And now I'm going to get 4 iron cubes onto this location. Yeah, we're going to do okay for income. Yeah, not bad for silver. Okay, so I built the iron mill at this location, and that cost me 5. And we built a connection here, which cost me 3. So we spent a total of 8, used 1 coal. Now we have 4 iron cubes sitting here and a market that can take 4. So we're going to get a total of 6 pounds back from the bank for selling that iron to the market. Yeah, essentially this was a free build because we got 6 pounds for spending 5, so we actually made 1. And we're going to flip over this for another 3 income. We're up to 45, which corresponds to 15 pounds coming every round. That's pretty good. Maybe I will just keep my income up here instead of taking a loan. We'll just have to see. Okay, that is silver's turn. Silver is out of cards. They're done with their first round. We are now going on to gold. Then they have 2 actions. The 2 actions of the cards are Birmingham and the Any Industry, Any Location card. Is there something they can do? Sure would like to get a coal mine out. Yeah, I would. Okay. I can build a coal mine here. I think that's what I want to do. So I'm going to take Birmingham and use it for 3 pounds and build a connection here. It's nice because I'm going to get 2 points, 3, 4 points for the connections, and then I'm going to build the coal mine using this Any Industry card. And this will cost me 7. So I spent a total of 10 this round, I think. Nope. Okay, so I'll be gold will be a second player next round and going into the rail phase. But there's going to be 3 coal cubes sitting right here, which is nice because I can get a connection. I can start building connections this way towards getting to the market where I can get to coal and then build my network as quickly as possible going into the rail phase. Okay, we are done with the canal phase. We've spent all our cards. We're going to go turn order first because that's what we always do. 8 versus 10 or so. So turn order does not change. Silver is going to pick up 15. And gold is going to pick up 3 for income. All these other coins go back. Okay, so for cash, looks like gold has 19. And silver has 29. Okay, that's a pretty nice stash right there. We are now going to, so we've done turn order. Let's do, we've done income as well. So now we're going to do intermediate scoring where we're moving these markers here. Silver already picked up 4 because they got to this location and scored 4 victory points for selling to this location. Gold is going to really try to do that in the next round. Let's pick gold because they're behind right now. And we're going to count connections first. Any tiles that are flipped over that show this symbol here are going to be scored. So we're going to go to this first connection. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. So this connection comes off and gold goes up 4 steps. We're going to go to this location. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was a nice one. Goes up to 10. We're going to go to this location. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I say location, I mean connection. That's worth 4. Up to 14. This connection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up to 19. And I think this is their last connection. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to 23. And remember, the color of the tiles adjacent to the connection doesn't matter. It's just flipped over tiles with those markers. And I see one more gold here, so let's take care of that guy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 28. That's the first part of the scoring. They're not done yet, but we need to do connections for all the players before we go to the individual tiles. Okay, so let's go to silver now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for that connection. Up to 9. 1, 2, 3. 12. This connection, 1, 2, 3. 3. 2. 1, 2, 2. Okay, let's take a look at the board. Any other connections anywhere? There are no other connections. Okay, so we're done. So now we're going to go with silver because they're in behind here, and we're going to take all level 1 tiles off the board. We're not going to get rid of them yet because we've got to score them. But any level 1 tiles have to come off. Level 2 tiles stay on the board. Don't take them off, but we're going to score those as well. In fact, let's score the level 2s right now. I see 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 2 is 9. So 31. And let's go ahead and score these guys. And let's see what we have here. Okay. So I see 10 for these guys, 4, 3, and 3, 10, plus another 10, 20, 25. That's a really good score. 56. That's a great score. Okay, so these tiles come off the board. These are all level 1s. And we're just going to set them off to the side here on the other side of the player board. Level 2 stay on the board for silver. Those are available for starting points. These are part of the networks for the silver player to begin with the next round. We're going to do the same thing now with gold. We're going to take level 1 buildings off. I see level 1, level 1. This is a 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. So these are all safe. They stay on the board. These are the seeds for the gold network. I see a total of 7 points here for the level 1s that are taken off. So let me double check. Yeah, 7 points. 28, 35. And now we're going to take a look at the tiles that are flipped over. So this one does not score, but it will be something that can be scored later in the rail phase. We've got this guy worth 5, this guy worth 5, and this guy worth 5. So 15 total, 50 points. That's a decent score too. Actually, any score, I would say about 40 in the intermediate, you're in good shape to be competitive going into the rail phase. Okay, so again, I just want to confirm that everything on the board is where it should be. Level 2 buildings, yes, or level 3s, and then this building is not flipped over, but it's level 2, so it can stay right here, and it's got 3 coal cubes on it. Okay, we are now ready to get set up for the next round. I will do one thing. I'm going to add beer to wherever the markets have been depleted, and now they're replenished, and now these are available again to be used next round. Player order has been set up, determined by how much each player spent last round, so silver and then gold going into the rail phase. And let's talk for a moment about building in the rail phase. So when we build and spend 1 card, we can build 1 rail track for 5 pounds and 1 coal. You must have coal connected by the end of your turn. So for example, silver could build a rail line here for their connection. Actually, their network starts right here. They could connect this location to this location using this connector, and then use one of these cubes right here. They don't have to start on this spot. They can build towards it. And again, notice this is the gold coal mine, gold player coal mine. Silver can still use it. The other thing that can be done for 1 card, when you play it, if you spend 2 coal and 1 beer, you can build 2 rails for 15 pounds. So 15 pounds, 2 coal, 1 beer, 2 rail connections. Same deal, has to be everything connected together. My 2 coal from here, I have to have a beer source. I don't have one. I cannot use these beer for these connections. I must have a brewery someplace on the board. It can be mine or it can be my opponent's. So beer is going to get a lot more use in the railroad phase. The other thing I want to note is the beer icon here, or the beer brewery. In the first phase, the canal phase, you put 1 barrel of beer, but during the railroad phase, you put 2. So there's 2 to begin with, 2 resources, because again, you're going to be spending them a lot more. Okay, I'm going to shuffle up the deck, get that all ready to go. Deal out 8 cards. Each player will get 8 cards to start off with. In this case, we're going to just jump into 2 actions. Both players have had a chance to kind of shape the board. We're not going to have the situation where only 1 action is taken the first turn for the railroad phase. We're going to jump right into 2 actions. Okay, we're going to shuffle that deck and get all set up. Okay, that was our playthrough, at least for the canal phase, through and including intermediate scoring for our game of Brass Birmingham. 2-player game. You can see that the scores are kind of tight. They're not that far apart from one another, even though both players use very different strategies. After the intermediate scoring, we cleaned up the board, removed any tiles that weren't applicable. So we kept the level 2 tiles there, but removed any level 1s, moved all the connections. When we resume the game, we're going to be jumping right into the rail phase, where the process of building rails is different, and as a result, it really changes the strategy of the play. So thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Likes and thumbs up and subscriptions are always appreciated. In addition, your comments are really welcome too. Anytime you want to talk to me and ask me about something or point out where I made a mistake, very well could have, please do so. I welcome the chance to talk to you about the game. I really enjoyed Brass Birmingham. I hope I've sparked some interest in it, in you as well. And join me for the next video where we're going to resume the game and then take it to completion as well. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.